Hi everyone, we're here to do Beatles for Sale Side 2. Let's get right into it, Jude. But before we do, I've got a surprise to show you, right? I've got a book here, have a look, by Julian Lennon.
Love it.
And the great thing is it's signed. Give me a minute. Yeah. It's signed, have a look.
Oh, love it. Love Julian. He has a place in my heart. He really does. I am
Certificate of authenticity. And I got not only one book, right? This one's called Touch the Earth.
Yeah.
And I got another one here that you're going to love. It's called Love the Earth.
Yeah.
Signed by Julian again. How great is that? Everyone go out and buy these books by Julian Lennon. We love the guy.
We do love the guy. We do. Oh, beautiful. Love his signature.
And it's real. It comes with a certificate of authenticity. Okay, let's get started in the show. I can't wait.
I've got a surprise too. I've got a surprise too because, as you said, Volume 5 in the John Lennon series has just been announced. It's coming out on John's birthday, 9 October, and I am being driven by a team of editorial slave drivers who are working so hard and making so many corrections. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the file of corrections they have given me to make to the book. I am working so hard on it here. Nobody's seen this before. This is a first time ever. This is going to be the cover of the book. And my husband did the cover, just as he did the last 2 books. He drew that, and it's called Shades of Life. And everybody can pre-order it right now at johnlennonseries.com.
That's amazing, Jude. Now, let me tell you, that's a worldwide exclusive, isn't it? No one's seen the cover?
First time ever.
Please show it one more time for the fans. Go out there and tell them again where it is, because that's so unique. Look at that. Look at the beautiful artwork that he's done.
And he, this is John in 1965. You can see the hair is longer, messier. He's not coiffing it anymore. And you see, look into those eyes. That's the man that wrote Help. That's the man that said it was my fat Elvis period and I was crying out for help. But because he put it to that Johnny music, no one listened. You know,
Anyway, on with the show. Beatles for Sale, Side 1. Let's get into the first track.
So we are going to backtrack a little bit from where Shades of Life is. It's 1965. We're stepping back a full year into the autumn of 1964. The Beatles have just returned from their 1964 North American tour. They've been in the United States a month and a half, and they've been doing nothing but concerts, one after another. They come home, they have only a couple of days off, and then they're back in the studio making Beatles for Sale. Now, everybody, Plastic thinks that the very first theme album for the Beatles was Sgt. Pepper's, that it was the first time they thought of an artsy theme of being an imaginary band doing imaginary concert. But that's not true. The very first theme record for the Beatles was Beatles for Sale. They decided they were going to make a country and Western record and pay homage to all of the great country and Western stars that they love, like Carl Perkins. And on side 2, which is what we're getting ready to do, Plastic and I have already covered side 1, but on side 2, they're going to do 2, not 1, but 2 Carl Perkins numbers. But the first song is going to be an original country and Western song, and it's called 8 Days a Week. And it does not appear on the American version of Beatles for Sale, which is called Beatles 65. A dumb decision on Capitol's part. They take 8 Days a Week and I Don't Want to Spoil the Party, both country and Western originals by the Beatles. They take it off the album and they put it on a single. Why? Moolah. They want to make the money. And so they in essence, ruined Beatles 65 because the 2 Beatles originals, country and Western songs, are gone. It makes no sense. But so this is a song that all the Beatles sing. They worked on it. It was a John and Paul collaboration. Where did the title come from? Well, in an interview in the 1980s with Playboy, Paul says that it was Ringo's idea, but then he backtracks a couple of months later and says, no, 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 no. Ringo didn't come up with it. It was John's chauffeur that came up with it. He said they've been working 8 days a week. Yes, sir.
Can I say, Paul was in the car going to visit John, and apparently Paul said to him, how's your week been? And he goes, I've been working like so hard, it's 8 days a week. I've been working 8 days a week. And Paul goes, click, got the idea, goes to John's house and goes, I got the title for a song called 8 Days a Week. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct. And if you would sing a few bars of 8 days a week for us, that would really make it.
Now, I've got to say, and I'm saying the truth to you, 8 Days a Week is one of my favorite songs. I love it. Ooh, I need your love, babe. Guess you know it's true. Hope you need my love, babe. Just like I need you. Hold me, love me, hold me, love me. Ain't got nothing but love, babe. 8 days a week.
You got it. And you know what? The Beatles did not like that song. They called it a filler. They said it wasn't worth anything. But you know who did love the song? The fans.
I love the song.
Yeah, the fans loved it. And it went straight to #1. It was in a long succession. Here are the #1 so far in 1964. I Feel Fine, Help, Yesterday, all follow in the Help film that's to come in 1965. And We Can Work It Out, all #1s, and 8 days a week kicks off that.
Can I just say, one of my regrets about the Beatles is that they never released All My Loving as an A-side single. That is, to me, is one of the greatest songs Paul has ever wrote. That's just me. That's how I feel. If I had to write a song in 1964, and I couldn't because I was too young, if I had to pick a song that I wished I could have written, it would have been All My Love. And that's how much I love that song.
It's a beautiful, beautiful love song. Beautiful love song. Well, you are in with a good crowd who really liked 8 days a week because it's one of the most covered songs. Billy Preston did it. Procol Harum did it. The Supremes did it. In 2012, it was even remade by Ken Navarro. Kathy Lee Cook did it as a country song on her LP. So it's been a popular song, even though the Beatles didn't like it. There are two unique features in the song. One, you and I just acted out, the hand clapping, which was a signature of the Beatles' early songs, and they bring it back in the fall of 1964 and 8 days a week. And the other thing, the really unique thing, is the song has a fade in instead of a fade out. So that made it super cool. All right, the second song, and I know you know it, Words of Love. Take it away.
Words of love, I whisper soft and true. Darling, I love you. Is that right?
It is a good one. Beautiful song.
That's a Buddy Holly song.
It is. It's a Buddy Holly-esque song.
Let me tell you, you know which other Buddy Holly song I like? Mailman Bringing Me No Blues. And apparently when they did the Let It Be sessions, they're singing a little bit of that song as an outtake on the film. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah, in March of 1958, on the 20th of March, 1958, Buddy Holly came to Liverpool and performed at the Philharmonic Hall. Now, the Beatles did not attend, and there's all this people asking on threads on the internet, were the Beatles there? But in TuneIn, Mark Lewison definitely tells us the Beatles did not attend. In fact, that night, they were over at the Morgue Skiffle Cellar watching the group that would, Alan Caldwell and the Texans, who would later become Rory Storm and the Hurricanes. That's Rory Storm's real name, Alan Caldwell. And they weren't there. So people have speculated why they weren't there. There are all kinds of rumors about, well, when Buddy Holly came to town, this band flirted with the girls and the Beatles were boycotting them. No, the reason that they didn't go hear Buddy Holly is because they couldn't afford it. The Philharmonic is not a bar. It's not a club. It's a posh place where entertainment would come. Ray Charles would play the Philharmonic. It's a very upscale place, and the tickets were expensive, and those boys in 1958 couldn't afford to go. So none of them attended. But Buddy Holly being in Liverpool changed the whole flavor of rock and roll in Liverpool, because they didn't follow Chuck Berry or Little Richard or Elvis. Their end all be all is Buddy Holly. They want to be like Buddy Holly. And we got to remember Buddy Holly is from Texas. So the flavor that you get of rock and roll Merseyside is a very country and Western Texas kind of rock and roll. Is Ringo playing a packing case on this song the way that Buddy Holly does in Every Day? It's getting stronger. Yes, Ringo is playing on a packing case to make this very Buddy Holly-esque. And the Beatles had always loved this song. It had been a big hit for them in the Cavern Club. The girls all swooned over it. They did it on Live at the BBC. And if you look at Live at the BBC Volume 2, you'll see that they are performing it on there. And it's being sung by Paul and John. It's got the great harmony in it, really reminiscent of the Cavern days. Love, 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 words of love.
Can I just say, and this is my take on it, I don't think anybody's ever mentioned this, right? But just singing the words of love. Do you know, I hear echoes of P.S. I Love You in there too, even though he based it, let's say, on Please Please Me, right? He based it on a Roy Orbison song, Please Please Me, Give Me a Love or whatever it is. But when you sing words of love, a whisper soft and true, darling, I love you, P.S. I love you. There's, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be too far off to say maybe there's a bit of influence from that too.
It's very possible. And one other thing that people might not know is that when the Beatles did it in the Cavern, George and John would sing this song. It was their song, George and John. And then on Beatles for Sale, it switches to Paul and John. And if you look at the balance of songs on Beatles for Sale, it's very John-centric. John has most of the songs. And I think George Martin thought Paul is being left out of this LP. So let's give him the duet with John on Words of Love. So I think that's why he switched it. And I don't know that for sure, but it appears that way. So, all right, next one. And you are up with Honey Don't.
Ringo sings it, he does a great job. That's country and western right there. Well, how come you say you will when you won't? Say you do, baby, when you don't. Come on, baby, now tell me how you feel. Now tell me is love real. Well, no, honey, don't. Yeah, honey, don't.
A little honey, don't. This is a great Carl Perkins number. And a few years ago at a gigantic festival that they have in the South, in Arkansas, it's called Beatles at the Ridge. You know, the Beatles actually landed in the small town of Walnut Ridge, Arkansas, when they were on the 1964 North American tour. And so at this festival, they honor the Beatles every September for the time that they spent there. And I got to meet Stan Perkins, Carl Perkins' son. I got to talk with him. And he said that he and George were very good friends during George's lifetime. They shared a love of racing cars and rock and roll and country music and so forth. And he said that George told him that the Beatles did Honey Don't intentionally as an homage to his father because they loved his body of work. In fact, one of Carl Perkins' songs, Matchbox, had been one of their big staples when they performed in the Cavern. And so they're doing this as an homage to Carl Perkins. John is the one who sang Honey Don't in the Cavern Club. Ringo never sang it. This was John's song. But every LP, one song is given to Ringo, and this is right in his range. It's very easy to sing, and he can ham it up, and he can flirt with the girls while he sings it. And so it becomes Ringo's song. But if you want to hear John singing it, go to Live at the BBC Volume 2, and you can hear John performing the way he would. If you'd been in the Cavern Club, you would have heard John doing Honey Don't. So how do you feel about this one, EP? Do you like it? Plastic, is this one?
I love it. I love all the songs on this album because they got the country feel.
Yeah, they do. And they really, everybody keeps saying, oh, for the first time when they did Sgt. Pepper, they came up with this great idea of doing a concept record. No, this is your first concept record right here. This is your country and western album. So the next song is Every Little Thing.
She does for me. Ooh, and you know the things she does for me. Ooh, I love it. And actually, you know what? I'm singing on key for this show. For once.
Yeah, no joke, really and truly. Well, this is one of Paul's songs on Beatles for Sale, and he wrote it for Jane Asher at her home in Wimpole Street, and wrote it in that room of his that he shared across the hall from her brother, Peter. And it is a song that today is outdated, because you would never write a song today about, oh, my girlfriend does everything for me. She listens when I talk. She obeys me. Everything she does for me. You'd be kicked to the corner, you know. But in the 1960s, this was a beautiful love song. And it was exactly what, you know, if you wanted to talk about the girlfriend, she was doing everything for you, and she loves you, and she's faithful to you, and all that. So the song is standard in its message, but it's unique in the music, because there is an instrument that is introduced for the very first time on this record, and that's the timpani. You can hear everything she does for me, boom, boom. And Ringo is playing that timpani, never before used on a Beatles record. Paul is playing the piano, and John plays two different guitars. He plays his 12-string and his acoustic. He does electric and acoustic both. It's a great song. John and Paul sing harmony, very unique, very different from the other songs that are on the record, but it does still have a bit of a country and western twang to it. What do you feel about this one, Plastic? You like it?
As you said, with the timpani, it's great. You got to understand, that's before its time. And on an Australian greatest hits record, you see a picture of Ringo actually with the timpani. I don't know if you know that.
Yes. Oh, you don't have it there, do you?
No, I don't. It's somewhere. I got too many records. I got too many collectibles. I'm lucky enough to find my wife now at home. It's packing stuff here.
Well, Ian MacDonald in Revolution in the Head says that the people that accuse Paul of writing silly love songs need to listen to every little thing, because it's well written, it's different, it's unique. You can see the Beatles start to be experimental, and they're going to do that more when they get to Help in 1965. But they're starting to be a little bit edgier and introduce new instruments and try new things. And every little thing is an excellent McCartney composition. So then we go to I Don't Want to Spoil the Party. Again, should have been on this record in America. Why they did not.
But Georgie's great on it. George sings that, doesn't he? Or John and Paul sing it?
John.
John. John sings that, and it goes. You know why I'm mixing it up with Everybody's Trying to Be My Baby? That's why. Both songs are similar. They're similar, aren't they? That's why.
Yes, they are very similar.
I don't want to spoil the party, so I'll go. I would hate my disappointment to show. There's nothing for me here, so I'll disappear. If she turns up, oh, whatever.
While I'm gone, please let me know. That's it. You got it. I can't sing. You can sing. Okay, so when I heard this song as a teenager, I was totally bewildered. What kind of crazy girl would not want to be there for John Lennon? Who would not show up for John Lennon? I remember saying to my friends, well, look, if she won't show up, I'll be glad to show up. But the song was not about a literal party, and it was not about a literal girl. You and I, Plastic, have talked many, many times about John's philosophy of life and how wounded he was from the fact that his parents relinquished him to his Aunt Mimi to rear when he was a child. And then when he finally connected with his mother when he was 15 and she came back into his life and they became best friends, she's taken from him again by death. And he never gets over the fact that his mother, for very complicated reasons, relinquished him when he was a little boy. And he feels like she abandoned him. And that's what this song is about. The party, of course, is life. And all of his youth, he waited for her to show up, and she never did. And it's in so many songs about how he waited and waited for her and wondered why she didn't love him and wondered why she didn't want him. And finally, she does show up, but it's, right before her death. He tells you very clearly what he's going to do with the hurt that's inside of him. He's going to disappear. And he does disappear. He disappears inside this Beatle John, this jokey, witty. He even says it when he opens live at the BBC Volume 1. All of them say, hi, I'm Paul and I play a guitar. Hi, I'm Ringo and I play the drums. Hi. And then John says, Hi, I'm John, and I also play a guitar. Sometimes I play the fool. And that is the truth. He's going to disappear into this clown, into this wit, into this hard man. You're not going to get to know the real John Lennon. And one thing is certain in this song, though tonight she's made me sad, which she did, I still love her. He, no matter what, he's going to still love her. It's sort of reminiscent of Baby It's You, one of his favorite cover songs, in which he says, it doesn't matter what they say, you know, I'm going to love you any old way. And that's what he's saying here. No matter what she did or does to me, I still love her. It's the same song. It's just set to a different tune. It's the song of John's life. And when they asked John about it in later years, when he did the interviews with David Sheff, he said, that was a very personal song of mine. And boy, is it ever. He doesn't want to spoil the party, Beatlemania, but his heart is heavy. And he's telling you this before he even writes Help. It's a landmark song, really. How do you feel about it?
I agree. It's a great song. But you know what I love about Beatle fans? Every Beatles song is great. It's true.
Yes. I mean, really, even the very, like, Her Majesty, it, you know, it's got such a catchy hook in it. She's a very nice girl. And any little song, I can't really think of a Beatles song that I don't like. Can you think of one that you don't care for? Maybe Revolution 9. Most people don't like Revolution 9, but
doesn't matter what Beatle fan I tell them. If I tell them one of them's not that great, they get offended. They want every song to be the greatest, but don't worry about it. But there are some stinkers, I got to admit. All right, there's some songs I can't stand.
Like what? Let's hear it.
It's very hard to tell you. Some of those songs off that they got an album that's just like fill-in songs. There's some songs that, you know, I don't rate them that highly. They're just like not really great songs. Like
on Rubber Soul, are you talking about?
Well, like a Northern song, or those ones that came off that album. They're like filler songs. Oh, look, I can tell you now, all right, and I don't want to offend Beatle people.
Yeah.
99.9% of Beatle songs are great.
Yeah.
But you can't tell me every song they did is the greatest, because there's a couple of stinkers in there, right? Don't worry about it.
Well, no, I totally agree. And especially on the White Album, people are all over the board with the way they feel about songs on the White Album. Some people don't like some of the 1940s-esque tunes that are on there. We won't mention any names, but you know, they can't all be, and here's where I'll get people riled up. They can't all be John Lennon songs, people.
But see, I go to 99.9% of Beatles songs are fine, but you know, there's one or two odd stinkers. I don't care what anyone says, all right? Yeah, we've got to talk reality here, because you know,
that's true.
Their catalogue is amazing. They're the number one in the world. They'll always be number one in the world. There's no question on that. But you know, not every song is like
I agree.
That great. I agree.
You know, here's the thing about Beatles for Sale. You got to realize that in 1964, that was the hardest year that they ever had. They had not only done that North American tour, but they had made A Hard Day's Night. They'd had the London premiere. They'd done a world tour where they went to Sweden and then Hong Kong and Australia and New Zealand. They had performed live seaside concerts right before they left to go to North America. They'd done radio shows, television shows, interviews. Ed Sullivan flew over to England to interview them over there. They were nonstop, and yet they turn out this great country and Western LP that is so different from anything they'd ever done before. This is nothing like the albums that come before it. It's nothing like A Hard Day's Night. It's nothing like Meet the Beatles or Please Please Me. It's unique, and you got to give it to them. They could really turn out great LPs.
I know, but this is why I go by the UK albums. You see them in the park with their faces and they're tired.
Yes, they are. I mean, even when you look at the American version on Beatles 65, look at those expressions on their faces. They used to do a thing in the early Beatles days that they call smile at nothing. There are no more smiles at nothing. These are very serious faced guys. And I mean, look at that. Look at that grim expression. And then this one, there is no, the smile at nothings are gone. And that's why volume 5 in the series is called Shades of Life, because what's going to happen in 1965 is they are going to do exactly the same thing that they did in 64. John is going to write his second book. They're going to make their second film for United Artists, which is 8 Arms to Hold You, which becomes Help. They are going to go on the second world tour, and they call it the European tour this time. It's France and Italy and Spain. They're going to go back to America and Canada to do another North American tour. They're going to have another London premiere. It's like it's like a rerun, but this time the fun is gone. The thrill is gone. They are doing the same things they did the year before, and it's a shade of what happened. The year before, it's glitter and sparkle and glow. In 65, it's just a shade of what they did the year before, same old thing.
Exactly, but look at what they're doing, because the next song is What You're Doing. Look, I put look in front of it. That's how it goes. I think, look what you're doing. I'm feeling blue and lonely. Would it be too much to ask of you what you're doing to me? I love that song. Great song.
And the thing with that song is you are being introduced to the theme that Paul is going to carry out for all of the rest of the songs that he's going to write for Jane Asher. We find out that what he tells us in every little thing, that everything she does for him, and she's just so loving to him, it's so wonderful to him, and so forth, that all is not what it seems. Recently, someone told me, oh, I know that couple is getting along great because on Facebook, they posted this. And I said to that person, everything is not what it seems on Facebook. People want you to think everything is going great with them, when in fact, everybody has problems. So Paul is telling you in this song that he and Jane, there are some cracks, some fissures in the relationship. And if she would just stop what she's doing and see that he's lonely and blue, and would it be so much to ask of you what you're doing to me? I mean, that's a couple that's having problems. And he begins to say it more and more through all of the songs that follow. Even We Can Work It Out, try to see it my way. Not I'm going to see it your way, but try to see it my way. They are having problems. And this is the first hint that we get that all is not well in paradise or on Facebook. That they're going to, and it's going to be his theme song from then on. Love the way the lines flow one into the other. They're interconnected. They don't end with, each line isn't an end. It's almost a connected free verse. Another great, honest, very revealing song by Paul.
Amazing. That's an amazing song. Now, everybody's trying to be my baby.
Well, you have to sing that one if we're going to do it.
Right. Everybody's trying to be my baby. Everybody's trying to be my baby now. And he goes, something about a tree. And he goes,
took some honey from a tree, dressed it up, and they called it me. That's where you got to put
everybody's trying to be my baby. Everybody's trying to be my baby. Everybody's trying to be my baby now. I love it. He does a great job, George. I can't get over how many fans love George.
Yes. In fact, he was called Gorgeous George by the other Beatles. And back as early as the days that they went to Hamburg, the Beatle that the girls liked was always George. And you remember when my friends asked me to choose the Beatle that I wanted to fall in love with before recess, my first choice was George, just looking at the cover of that 45. And then I could tell they were all deflated. And I went home and thought about it and found out more about the Beatles and chose John. But George was the one that the girls liked. And so this is a great song for him. He sings it with that heavy Scouse accent, and he hams it up when he sings it. He does that little 3 steps up, 3 steps back shuffle that he does. And it is such a popular song, great country and Western number. Again, an homage to the champions of country and Western songs. It just is charming. That's all you can say. It's a charming performance.
let me tell you, everybody out there, today's been a fantastic show. The Beatles for Sale Side 2. Can't wait for our next show, which our next album's going to be.
Help. I need somebody.
Help. Not just anybody. Help. You don't need somebody. Help. Now,
It's great.
fantastic. Make sure you tune into that, everybody.